Happy Friday to everybody out there. It is finally, we are that close to the weekend, that close to Final Four weekend, WrestleMania weekend, all sorts of stuff. So it'll be a lot of fun. We're live from the Mercato by Certified Piedmontese, 84th and Havelock. Today's special, buy one, get one free on Steakhouse Burger Patties. What a deal that is. This is only available during the show hours. So get down here before 6. We'll be out here for the Ticket Watercooler. We'll be out here for On the Block. So you're going to want to come out and see Strick. Strick is actually in town. He'll be out here live. And you can also get this great deal, buy one, get one free on Steakhouse Burger Patties. Just mention the ticket at checkout. We'll be out here so we can kind of see you. And if you forget, just come and ask us. We'll tell you. Mention the ticket at checkout. Come by and check out their incredible variety of meats with all types of cuts. Plus, there's some seafood as well for those of you that want that. Ticket Watercooler sponsored by Colligan of Lincoln. And On the Block and with Strick and Bach will be sponsored by the Mercato every day by Certified Piedmontese. So that's where we're at today. Nate is back in studio, pushing all the buttons, getting us going here so far today. Nate, how you doing?
Doing all right, Buck. It's good to hear from you. I always get a little bit nervous, and I'm still a little bit new to the board and all of this. So as long as everything goes well to start out, I think we should be good. So I think we're ready to have a good show, and I'm excited to see Strick on the at least the video stream in person because I've never met him. So I guess this is probably about as close as it's going to get, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you can
maybe I'll swing by. Maybe I'll swing by.
Yeah, maybe he'll swing by if you really want to meet him, shake his hand, all that stuff. And like I said, if you want to meet Strick out there listening, you can come on by the Mercato by Certified Piedmontese. Once again, out here at 84th and Havelock. Just a beautiful campus out here. I call it a campus because it really is. I mean, there's several different places you can visit out here. So you're going to want to do that. Are you jacked up for Final Four weekend, Nate? Is your bracket still intact?
No, my bracket is about probably gone as poorly as it possibly could have. But the way that the Final Four is played out and the tournament as a whole, it's kind of predictable that everyone's bracket's busted, except for that one guy that had the entire Elite Eight correct, except for Virginia Tech. So I feel for that guy. Because
he couldn't pick St. Peter's. I mean,
right. And unfortunately, I took Virginia Tech to win the entire thing. So that didn't work out very well for me. But yeah, I'm excited. I don't like the chalk, the blue blood as much, and that's kind of what it's turned out to be, which is a little bit frustrating for me. But I think for the average college basketball fan, the tournament's gone about as well as you could ask for. You had a little bit of upsets. St. Peter's made a miraculous run. And then at the end of the day, it's when you get to the Final Four, you got 4 blue bloods. So may the best man win. At this point, I'm just rooting for whoever Coach K plays against. So UNC in the first round and then Kansas or Villanova, whoever it may be. But I think Kansas probably has the better chance of knocking off Duke. So I hope that it's Kansas. If they beat UNC Duke, I'm very worried that they're going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy too, because I think all the attention is going to be on North Carolina Duke. Obviously,
absolutely,
the greatest rivalry, perhaps in sports, but certainly within the sport of college basketball. And so it's the first time, obviously, between North Carolina and Duke now in the tournament. All the stakes on the line with Coach K's final game. I've said it before the tournament, and it's kind of been true. Is that I want to cheer for Coach K. I want to see this thing through. And I don't like Duke. I never have. But again, it's just the respect level I have for that man and what he's done for the sport and really for that university. You wonder where they would be without Coach K as far as on the map goes. But it's hard to do. It is hard to cheer for Coach K. It's hard to cheer for Duke if you haven't done it your whole life. So I'm kind of adjusting to it. And I can't do it for the North Carolina game because I've always been on North Carolina's side there. And I probably won't be able to do it with these other teams either. I've always kind of favored these teams. You mentioned it was, the Blue Bloods have made it. I think this is the first year, I'd probably say, since maybe 2016 that you've had 4 blue blood types in the Final Four. Villanova that year beat North Carolina with that great shot there at the top of the key.
Great national championship.
Yeah, by Chris Jenkins. Ryan Arcidiacono setting up that shot. Just crazy. I mean, that was one of the best moments in college basketball history. But if you remember, Michigan State and Kentucky were also in that Final Four. Do you include Villanova in the blue blood discussion? I'm not sure. That's one of those things. Again, depends on when you want to start it. Because since the mid '80s certainly, but I don't know. maybe you're it depends on if you're a blue blood diehard. you want it to go back further than that. But either way, I think that it is set up to be a great Final Four. And I do think, Villanova, with the injuries that they have, I think it's set up for Kansas to go ahead and win that game. And I think that Duke will take it from North Carolina. So I think that'll be good. Duke's got the most talent still left in this tournament, I believe. And Paulo Banchero maybe playing his way into the number 1 pick overall. I did this, and I want to do this with you, Nate, and then I'm going to do it with Strick, and we're going to see who scores better here. It's the most outstanding players. Before we get to that list, who would be would Paulo Banchero probably be your top pick as who's going to win? Or it kind of depends probably on who you think is going to win overall, obviously. But if I had to rank the players, I think that he has the most ability to take over the game of the players left.
Now, is this a question of who am I taking to win National Player of the Year, or who am I taking to be number 1 overall in the NBA draft?
Oh, neither. No. This is the Final Four most outstanding player, as we see the most. So it's just down to the Villanova, North Carolina, Duke, and Kansas players.
I would say it's either him or Armando Bacot. He's just dominant. Man.
Yeah, double machine.
He is good, and
he could not hit a free throw to save his life.
No, he couldn't, which is odd because for a bigger guy, he shoots really well at the line.
Yeah. Against Baylor,
I don't know.
That's how they got back.
That was a game. But I don't even know what was it, 24 rebounds he had or something in the game? He is just the definition of a college player, that Tyler Hansbrough, that maybe he doesn't have as much hype going into the NBA draft, but a guy I want on my team, especially in the college ranks. But I think it definitely depends, obviously, who wins and heads on to the next level. But I would say it's probably between Banchero. I've heard both. I still don't.
I think it's
know.
But it's spelled Banchero, so I just go with it.
I don't know. I've literally heard both, so I'd say him or probably Bacot.
Yeah, I think so. And then, like you said, you're kind of leaning in on that North Carolina Duke matchup, as most of us are. I think
first time in tournament history, which I've heard that for years now, but until it actually happens, it's kind of surreal to imagine that at no point in time is. Like we said, they're both blue bloods and have both been successful teams that are always in the Final Four, always in the Sweet 16. It still surprises me that they've never played in the tournament.
Yeah, and especially, this year of all years, right, where one of them's an 8 seed. It's not like North Carolina was expected to be in this position. So usually you do try to keep the conference opponents away from each other. But we also know in the past with the NCAA tournament, seeding committee, it's not always the most fair. Sometimes there's some matchups that are set up that you look at later in the bracket. That's part of Selection Sunday and the excitement for it. So I remember there's being years where it's like, it could be Duke, North Carolina right here.
Yeah,
and it never comes to fruition. So thankfully it happened before Coach K got out of there. I'm really excited for that. But for what it's worth, we're going to do this all the way back to the year 2000.
I'm going to give you Final Four players?
This is Final Four most outstanding players.
Okay.
So you're going to have to kind of remember the Final Four to a degree. It's not always the best player on the team. But it's going to be either or. We're going to see if you score better than Strick.
All right. I have a feeling Strick might score better than me in this, but we'll see.
He's a little bit older. He might remember those games a little bit better, but he also was playing, so maybe it was a little bit busy.
He might have played against some of the guys that were winning these players at the tournament.
For what it's worth, Jake Sorensen, he did it out here. I didn't even give him the either ors. He got 18 out of 21 of these without really flenching. So
now that's the peak of when he would have been watching college basketball. That doesn't surprise me as much.
But let's go. Let's go in reverse order. Let's go from the year 2000 to the year 2021. And you say you're probably around 2010 is your peak area.
I would say around 2010 is when I'm really going to start heating up a little bit. But now I say this and I'll probably get all of them wrong. So let's knock on wood here.
All right, let's start with the year 2000. Michigan State beat Florida. Do you think Maurice Peterson or Mateen Cleaves won that one?
Maurice Peterson.
It was actually Mateen Cleaves. You're off to a bad start.
Okay.
Duke won over Arizona in 2001. Shane Battier or Jaden Williams?
See, I know I'm thinking there's going to be some trick questions in here, but my gut instinct would say Shane Battier.
That is correct. Shane Battier did win that one. Maryland beat Indiana back in the year 2002. Juan Dixon or Steve Blake?
Steve Blake. There's a throwback. Steve Blake.
No, Steve Blake didn't win that. That was Juan Dixon. There's some of these you should be able to get. We'll see if we get this one.
Steve Blake actually ended up playing the NBA for a little bit.
Yeah, I love Steve Blake in the NBA. He was ready to fight anybody.
He was.
2003, Syracuse beat Kansas. Carmelo Anthony or Jerry McNamara?
I'm hoping these aren't trick questions. Carmelo Anthony.
That's right.
All right. You're going to trick me on some of these.
There's
I know
a few of them that are like that.
That surprises you, yeah.
2004, Connecticut beat Georgia Tech. Ben Gordon or Emeka Okafor?
Ben Gordon.
It was actually Emeka Okafor.
He ended up going number 1 overall, too, didn't he?
Yeah, Emeka. Yeah, and a little bit of a disappointing career, I suppose.
For the Bobcats. There's a throwback.
Who had any luck with the Bobcats? I don't think anybody. Speaking of the Bobcats, we got another ex-Bobcat on the list here. North Carolina beat Illinois in 2005. Sean May or Rashad McCants, most outstanding player?
Sean May.
That's correct. Sean May did get that one. So that's 3 points for you. 2006, this is when Florida started taking over. They beat UCLA. That was the Kevin Love and Russell Westbrook team. So they didn't win. So was it Joakim Noah or Al Horford with the most outstanding player that year?
That's a tough one.
It's a loaded team.
That is a loaded team. There was someone else on that team too.
Oh yeah.
It was before the Bradley Beal Florida teams though. And Chandler Parsons, your boy. I'm gonna go with Joakim Noah.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. The next year it's Florida over Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Did Joakim Noah repeat as Tournament's most outstanding player, or did Corey Brewer, his teammate, take that away?
I'm going to go with Corey Brewer.
You're right. Corey Brewer did take
that. That was the other guy on that team. All right.
I
knew there was someone.
2008, Mario Chalmers hit the big shot in Kansas win over Derrick Rose in Memphis. Did he win that, or did Brandon Rush get it?
Brandon Rush used to play for the Warriors, played with Steph Curry for a little bit.
I wouldn't call it playing, but he was there.
See, I know where all these guys played in the NBA. That's the worst part about it. I just don't remember who ended up winning it. I'm going to go, just because of the shot, I'll go with Mario Chalmers.
You are correct. That's a good pick. How could you not pick Mario Chalmers after that stone shot? 2009, North Carolina beat Michigan State. Psycho T, Tyler Hansbrough, or Wayne Ellington?
Tyler Hansbrough.
It was actually Wayne Ellington.
Was it really?
Yep.
And he was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was the year that Tyler Hansbrough won National Player of the Year.
I think so. But sometimes your teammates step up more than you.
Interesting. Wow. How about that?
2010, Duke beat Butler. Of course, Gordon Hayward's buzzer shot from
terrible
didn't go in. Would you say that Duke, by the way, and I don't have him on the list, but Steph Curry's brother, Seth Curry, was on this team, a champion at Duke. But was it John Shire, the coach in waiting right now, or Kyle Singler?
Kyle Singler.
It was Kyle Singler.
Kyle Singler was nice. I remember Bach,
Shire.
Actually, fun fact, for that game, I was in the state of Indiana. I was about 35, 40 minutes outside of Butler, and I think I would have been probably in the range, maybe not the lighting couches on fire, but in the vicinity. So maybe 12-year-old Nathan would have gone on there and lit something on fire.
Did you get into some Butler basketball when they were getting?
Loved Butler basketball. I actually had a scholarship to go to Butler.
But for basketball?
No, not basketball. Absolutely not. Come on, no. Academics, but it was a little bit too far from home. But yeah, I actually applied to Butler, got into Butler. Butler's a good school. School. A big Butler fan, Gordon Hayward fan. So shout out to the Bulldogs. They got hosed in that national championship.
They fired their coach today, and not everybody's happy with it. I saw John Goodman, college basketball reporter, was criticizing Barry Collier, former Nebraska coach, who's now the athletic director at Butler, for waiting this long in the process to fire their head coach.
Hey, maybe they'll go back to Brad Stevens, poach him from the Celtics.
No. We need to keep Brad Stevens over there in the front office for the Celtics. All right, let's go to 2011. Connecticut beat Butler. This is the second time around for Butler. Not as an exciting of a game.
Let me try and do this one without the guess.
Okay.
Kemba Walker.
Yeah, Kemba Walker, yeah. I was going to give you or Jeremy Lamb, but
Jeremy Lamb, the biggest disappointment in Indiana Pacers history, at least close to it. I'll tell you that much.
I was going to say you have a lot of people on that list. 2012, Kentucky beat Kansas. I believe this was Kansas's last trip to a championship game. In any case, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist or Anthony Davis.
Is Michael Kidd-Gilchrist still in the league? He was the guy with the whack shot.
So. Yeah.
For some reason, I think it's a trick one, but I'm not going to try and overthink it. Anthony Davis.
There you go. Yeah, go with your.
Don't want to overthink that one.
Yeah, don't overthink that one. How about this one? Louisville beat Michigan in 2013. Was it Luke Hancock or Peyton Siva as the Final Four most outstanding player?
Peyton Siva.
It was actually Luke Hancock.
Really?
Surprisingly, yes. And I'm trying to remember. I don't even know if Luke Hancock finished his career at Louisville. For some reason,
I don't know.
I'd have to double check.
Because that was the team. They should have done an honorary player to Kevin Ware, because that was the year that he snapped his leg, if you remember that.
And then, this title has an asterisk next to it now.
Yeah, because there's Patino.
Yeah, with Patino, who got a tattoo because of that title in honor of that.
Did he? I actually didn't know that.
He did. He told his players, I don't know if it was before the tournament or before the season, that if they won the title, he'd get the tattoo.
Good for Rick Pitino. Iona's faithful.
Yeah, Iona great, Rick Pitino. 2014, UConn beat Kentucky. Was that Ryan Boatwright or Shabazz Napier?
Shabazz Napier.
It was Shabazz Napier. 2015, Duke beat Wisconsin. Of course, that Wisconsin team knocked off undefeated Kentucky on the way there. That was awesome. But they didn't end up winning. Duke did. Was it Tyus Jones or Jaleel Okafor, the most outstanding player?
First off, I want to say, tuning in from Atlanta, Georgia, Rick Pitino got framed and didn't do anything wrong. I like whoever that texter is. Sign me up for that. I'm going to go with...
And all the other stuff in his career. He also didn't do that stuff either.
He's innocent. I'm going to say Tyus Jones.
It was Tyus Jones. Good pick.
Jaleel Okafor, bust, drafted by the Sixers.
Would you call him a bust? He wasn't like a high pick.
He was the second overall pick, wasn't he?
Tyus Jones? Are you talking about Okafor?
No, Jaleel Okafor. No.
I was going to say, you're kind of being mean to Tyus. He played a little bit.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he's still in the league, too.
I think he is, yeah. Jaleel, complete bust. But a guy that maybe would have been better suited in the 80s or 90s, traditional big man.
I'd agree with that.
Maybe would have done a lot better in that era. 2016, Villanova beat North Carolina. We mentioned it earlier. Was it Josh Hart or Ryan Arcidiacono that won the most outstanding player?
Oof, man, that was a good team. They should have given it to Chris Jenkins just because he hit the shot.
Oh, I know. I just don't know how many points he had that game.
Yeah, probably not too many. Arcidiacono.
Oh, good. Yeah, Arcidiacono.
That one was a shot in the dark.
Okay. That was just luck. 2017, North Carolina beat Gonzaga. Was that year's most outstanding player of the Final Four? Was that Joel Berry or Luke May?
Oh man, both those guys are pretty good, and I hated Luke May. He was a Virginia Tech killer. Luke May.
It was actually Joel Berry. But that was a close one. Now we're getting to the end of it here. 2018, Villanova's last title over Michigan. Was that Dante DiVincenzo or Jalen Brunson as the Final Four most outstanding player?
Jalen Brunson.
It was actually DiVincenzo. 2019, Virginia beat Texas Tech. Who was the Final Four most outstanding player there? Kyle Guy or Ty Jerome?
Honestly, I want to get this wrong because people forget Kyle Guy was Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana, and he chose Virginia over Indiana, my worst nightmare. But I'm almost positive it was Kyle Guy.
It was Kyle Guy. There you go. 2020, there was no tournament, obviously.
It would have been Obi Toppin. I was taking Dayton all the way in that year. Done.
I don't know about that. Knicks were eliminated from the playoff contention, too. We'll bring that up just to rub it in.
Despite for Rico.
Yeah. 2021, last year, Baylor beat Gonzaga. Was the Final Four most outstanding player Jared Butler or Davion Mitchell?
Davion Mitchell had a really good tournament. Isn't that crazy that it was just last year and I actually don't know for sure, but
This might be the hardest one on the list.
I want to say Davion Mitchell.
It's actually Jared Butler,
really?
who I don't hardly remember
because Davion Mitchell had a really good tournament too.
Yeah,
I remember he took over, especially I think it was in the Sweet 16. He dropped to like 25 or something like that.
Yeah.
But Bach, I want to make sure that we get to a caller. We have John who has a boxing question. So we'll go ahead and put you on. John, are you still there?
I'm still here.
All right, John, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I enjoy listening to you guys, and I've heard y'all talk about boxing before, but where do you think old Bud Crawford would stack up against the middleweights of the 80s? Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, Duran, and that group of guys.
Thanks for the call, John. We will go ahead and discuss that. Bach, I'll let you go ahead and start out.
Yeah, I obviously want to see more than anything. I want to see him in Memorial Stadium against I don't care because I think the Nebraska fans would get behind him. I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably not the best person to ask this question. Obviously not. I wasn't born in the '80s, so I don't have a great idea. I didn't watch the boxing around then, but I do think that with his style, he would translate eras. So it's again, I wouldn't be, I would be lying to you if I really told you how he compared to those guys. So I don't want to answer that untruthfully, but I think that he would be, as far as crossing over, I don't know if he'd be the champion or the best one amongst the bunch. But I think that he would, translate generations.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go ahead. Bud Crawford, I didn't know how big of a deal he was until I came to Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, he's from Omaha. Everyone loves him. I've got a guy. I used to actually go to a boxing gym back in Blacksburg. Huge boxing guy. He would have a good answer to this. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot him a text. And I'm going to get a little bit of a better answer for someone who would know that perspective to see how Bud Crawford would fit in them. But I do know that 80s, 90s era is widely regarded as some of the best boxing of all time. So it'd be very interesting if you could pluck him in and then throw him in that era. That's a good question. That's a really good question.
And it's fascinating to follow boxing back into, even earlier than that, when it was like the sport.
Right.
Yeah, it was the top thing everybody was, wanted to get a ticket to. And obviously this is, you're kind of talking like predating television and all that stuff. So it would be incredible to see it live. I did see the Bud Crawford fight when he came to Lincoln, and that's what I want to see at Memorial Stadium, because I saw it in Pinnacle Bank Arena, and I'm telling you, it was like a Husker home game. Obviously, the undercard, undercard was what it was. People were in and out on the smoke deck and stuff. Right. But as soon as they got to the Bud Crawford fight, it was just amazing. And he knocked the guy out with a body punch, and the guy couldn't get up.
Still undefeated too.
Yeah. So good question. Again, maybe we defer that to maybe DP would probably give you a better answer than that. Some of the guys that had followed boxing back then, but we'll try to hunt down an answer for that. We are live, by the way, from the Mercato by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. Come on out, get this deal. Buy one, get one free on Steakhouse Burger Patties. Only available during the show hours, so up until 6 o'clock. Come out here. Strick will be live with us. Eric Strickland, former Husker, longtime NBA vet, will be out with us here in a bit as well. So we've got all that coming for you. Also, I wanted to ask you this because in an ode to college football Reddit, I went and was on there earlier today. I thought they had some interesting conversations. How about this one? We'll talk about this next. What 5 games would you play on repeat in hell if for Nebraska fans? What would be the 5 games that would irk you the most if you're a Nebraska fan? Text us on the on the text line. Let us know. We'll be right back here on the Ticket Watercooler, live from the Mercato on 93.7 The Ticket.
Work, laundry, dishes. I was exhausted. I needed a vacation, but finding a way to pay for it, not so easy. Then I found it. A research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and booked that vacation. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
The Captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Adversity introduces a man or a woman to themselves. It's easy to say, oh, have a great day when things are good. But when life happens, as we all know, adversity hits, that's when we find out who we are. It's okay to be not okay.
And sometimes we can't see the help that's there
because of whatever issue. There's athletes that are talking about mental health and just well-being and burnout right now, because in the past 2 years, if COVID has showed us anything, it showed us the importance for connection.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit? It's no big deal, right? Wrong. The truth is, your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or kohls.com for details.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 330 North 48th Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Southeast Community College is training tomorrow's workforce today with our nearly 60 career and technical programs. We are doing our part to help employers fill vacancies during this current labor shortage, graduating students with skill sets employers are seeking. We're also helping to upskill the workforce by adding short-term credentials like certificates in many programs so that employees can get retraining quickly. Learn more about upskilling with SCC at southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Increasing cloud cover expected by later this afternoon, and we should see some scattered rain showers move in by late in the day. We'll top out near 64, southeast winds 15 to 25. A lingering chance of showers early tonight, then clearing with a low of 34. A beautiful Saturday on the way, mostly sunny with a high of 62. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh, yeah. Here we go, Bach. Get the head bob. Give me a head bob. Come on.
It is a party. I'll head bob a little bit. It's a party in the club. It's also a party out here at the Mercato by certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. You're going to want to get out here so you can get the buy one, get one free deal on steakhouse burger patties. That deal is only until 6. Only available during the show hours. So must mention the ticket at checkout. If you forget to say the ticket, then just look at us. We're right. I mean, I can watch you buy it. So if you forget what to say, just come and ask us. We'll let you know, and you can get that buy one get one free deal.
Bach will sign whatever you got. You gonna get some autographs, Bach?
Am I going to give autographs?
Yeah, I mean, you
I
might
think
as
that
well
will
if you're here.
devalue anything that you buy. Strickland will be out here. Eric Strickland will be out here from 4 to 6. He might sign. I'm sure he'd sign an autograph or
There
two.
you
You might have to bring the pen. I don't know if we have a marker available, but yeah, get your Eric Strickland jersey or your former Husker, any former gear that you really want to get signed. I'm sure he would. If he signs it and then I sign it, then then it's devalued again, right? You just need to get Strix.
But then if you go on eBay, that would be actually an interesting experiment. We try and sell just Eric Strickland and then Eric Strickland and Jake Bakoven and see if it actually devalues how much you would go for. That would be
I think that it might. I don't think it would help too much. It's one of those things. Have you ever had something signed by like multiple people? Like I had a football that I took to this. Nebraska does a signing event every year. I got it signed by, it was a Black Shirts football. I got it signed by a lot of guys and most of the team as much as I could. Couldn't make it around to everybody. But I got Levante David to sign it.
Hey, there you go.
Which is a nice signature. If I had a Black Shirts football with just Levante David's signature on it, I think that might be worth something. But it also has everybody else's signature in the linebacker unit and the defensive back unit. So I'm not sure if it's as valuable.
I don't know, because most of the things that I have signed, I mean, I guess I went to what was formerly known as the Redskins when they had training camp, because they have it in Richmond, the Bon Secours Center, I believe it's still called. And I had a ton of guys sign. I can't even remember. I think Josh Norman's on the ball.
Oh, yeah,
D'Angelo Hall, Ryan Kerrigan. I think Chris Cooley is on it too. Chris Cooley was nice there for a while. But yeah, I don't know how much that would be worth. Also, Bach, I want to do a couple of things here. I wanted to give a shout out to Tom's Jury, first-time listener of the ticket, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Glad to have you. And then we do have a texter that talks about what you mentioned before the break. But before we get to that, I want to bring up, Ben says, will he sign a Danny Nee branded tie?
I cannot honestly tell you. I can't speak for Strick. I think he'll probably sign just about anything you bring up to him. Maybe he doesn't sign stuff. I'm not really sure. I've never tried to get him to sign anything. I think he'll probably sign if you have a baseball card. What was that? A Danny Nee what?
Danny Nee branded tie.
Branded tie. I think he would sign that. And more than anything, I want to see. I just want to see that.
Yeah.
So bring
shout
that
out
on
to
out.
you, Ben.
He'll be on here. We'll be out from 4 to 6 live from the Mercato. So that will be exciting. Did you see the Andrew Luck news?
Don't. This is an April Fool's joke. You know what, Bach? You were going to get me to cuss on the radio. I better have the dump button ready. Don't even say that to me right now.
You better get it
if
ready.
You just looked at the stream, my face just lit up. I was like, no, you're kidding.
Like, oh, what?
Is he actually coming back? Don't do that to me, Bob. No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's been a rough day for I think anybody on social media. There's a lot of guesses. Strick just actually sent me a text asking if that was legit or not. I hadn't heard it, so I looked it up. I think somebody tweeted something out about Andrew Luck coming back. But
I heard also it was Julian Edelman to the Buccaneers.
I was fooled by that. I thought that was happening.
That was real?
Pretty much half the day. Yeah. Even after seeing some of the other stuff that had gone on, like Brad Davidson getting another year at Wisconsin. Wisconsin did that joke today. Nebraska did that their field is black. They made it a black field. That was kind of a joke.
LeBron James said he was done for the season. That was another one too.
Which he might be done for the season in a few days. So some
It
people
doesn't
are
really
rubbed the wrong
matter,
way by that. Really reminds me of when Kobe. Remember when Nick Young and all the young Lakers were messing around, and Kobe went on Jimmy Fallon, and all he did was just shake his head like, this is not the Lakers I knew. I think the same thing about that LeBron messing around on April Fool's Day. I'm going to be shut down for the season. It's like, dude, you have 6 games left. You're going to play in the play-in game. You might be done in this first season.
It's like,
soon.
Actually, that tweet might be pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So I might want to. But he gets off all social media when he's in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It'll be a short stint off the playoffs or short stint off social media this year is what it's looking like. There are those, and I think you said it the other day that you might not want to see the Lakers in the playoffs if it's yourself.
No, absolutely not. And like I said, it's Russell Westbrook, whatever you want to call him. I know his shooting percentage is down, and he's not what he once was. He's still a former MVP. Anthony Davis, when healthy, is still top 5 player in the NBA. And LeBron James is arguably the greatest, or if not the second greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. And sure, eventually you're going to have to play them if they do end up advancing in the playing game and in the playoffs. But as a first-round matchup, when your 8 seed normally, historically, is a cookie-cutter matchup, I just really don't see any scenario where you'd want to play the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't think it's ideal, especially, because we haven't seen too much of a healthy AD, healthy LeBron together. I don't know if you would call them healthy, but looks like they're gonna give it a go here. And so yeah, maybe they can round something into form. Also to note that the Clippers are down there too. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard set to get back. Paul George just did. I think Kawhi's on his way back. So just kind of interesting timing there. Some of those lower seeds in the West could make some noise, and certainly in the East. Are you buying that the the Sixers last night lost to Detroit? Are you buying that the Sixers actually lost to Detroit, or do you think the Sixers are trying to navigate their way out of playing the Nets?
Interesting. I didn't even really look at it that way. Look, man, like I said, I think you're better off without James Harden no matter what team you are. I think the Rockets are long-term going to be better. I know right now it probably doesn't seem like it, but long-term, the haul you got for him, just give it a few years. I think you're better off without James Harden. James Harden was obviously not meshing well in Brooklyn, so they moved on. I don't think Ben Simmons has decided he's going to even play this season, so that's also kind of a nightmare situation. But you have players in the NBA that are just proven winners and have been there before and play the brand of basketball that say what you will about the NBA, but you don't get the calls you get in the regular season. Players play a little bit more defense. The competition is ratcheted up, and it's been proven that in the past, James Harden, when he isn't getting the calls, when the defense is ratcheted up, when these teams are being ultra competitive, he just doesn't perform in the playoffs, and I think that's going to be the scenario again this season.
Yeah, there's when that trade happened, some people were saying the new Shaq and Kobe and stuff like that. Come on, hold on now. That's 3-time champions there together. These guys haven't done it. Yeah, these guys haven't even sniffed the NBA Finals yet. So I suppose Game 7 for Harden's probably at least would qualify as sniffing in the Western Conference Finals, but they haven't got there. And so, don't get ahead of yourselves there, like you said. I want to jump. I'm going to do this very often on the Ticket Water Coolers. Jump into some college football college football Reddit community. If you aren't a part of that, all you have to do is Google college football Reddit on Google. It can kind of give you a lot of fun topics and thoughts there. And one that I picked apart was, what 5 games would you play on repeat in hell for Nebraska fans? Now they did it for it was supposed to be for your rival team, so you can but here in Nebraska, it's been a rough 20 years or so. So I think it would be easier to put together a list of the games that you would play on repeat that would just bug the heck out of you if you had to be for the rest of your existence. For those that don't like to say it, HE double hockey sticks there for you. So what 5 games would you put in there? And I know we did get a response off the Starter Heyman text line, 424645685. We'd like to hear from you as well. He says the 83 Orange Bowl, the 93 Orange Bowl, the 83 one, this is the tie against, or should have been a tie against Miami. If they did kick the tie, the extra point, it would have been a championship. Tom Osborne's first championship, but decided to go for 2. Obviously, that did not go well. And they were without their star running back, Mike Rozier, for a big part of that game, too. So that might be a painful rewatch, I think. The 93 Orange Bowl. That one would be one that I would heavily consider, or the 93 season when they played Florida State, I believe is when he's talking about. Also a game that came down to a championship for Nebraska. If they would have been able to hit a field goal, there were some missed calls in that game. So that one certainly would be, those 2 lost championships, I think, deserve to be in there. He also included the 96 Big 12 championship game. Nebraska maybe would have been in the national championship picture had they won that game, but lost to Texas. You can put a lot of Texas games on there. He does put another one, 99 Texas game, where the correct Corral Buckhalter fumbled. Otherwise, Nebraska maybe would have went undefeated that year and took Virginia Tech's spot in the championship game. Who knows?
Come on, boo.
Also, the 2009 Big 12 championship game. Of course, that one was the 1 second left. and Colt McCoy threw the ball out of bounds, apparently, 1 second left, even though the time came off the clock. So those are all very good ones. We'd like to hear more from you guys. Again, on the House of Speed, or excuse me, no longer House of Speed, on the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Another text come in and says the Terrence Nunn fumble against Texas. That one would be one. That's back in Zach Taylor's day where he had a win against Texas. I believe it was very light snow, but it was there. Brandon Jackson had a heck of a day. All Terrence Nunn had to do was get down. He had the first down. Nebraska pretty much could have went in the victory formation. Instead, he fumbles, and Colt McCoy leads the comeback. Nebraska loses. So those are all very good ones, and we'd like to hear more from you. I've got my list. I'll tell you about that one next. We also have a text from Ben who says, happy April Fool's Day to you too, to us too. And then I'll read his during the break. That's a little bit longer than I was prepared for right there. Yeah, so we'll get back to that. We're live here out at the Mercato. Get here by 6 o'clock. You can get buy one, get one today with their steakhouse burger patties. Buy one, get one free. So you're going to want to make it out here at 84th and Havelock, the Mercato by Certified Piedmontese. Once again, this is the Water Cooler brought to you by Culligan Water. Call today at 402-251-2309 or go online to CulliganLincoln.com. We'll be right back after this. Jake Bachman here, and I want to tell you about something that I do that is helpful in the health industry. I'm talking about Solarion, where if you're eligible, you can earn up to $500 per day while helping develop new pharmaceutical products. I've worked with Solarion for many years and keep going back because I feel confident in the well-trained staff and well-researched studies that I participate in. Plus, if you have a busy schedule, they have weekend studies or overnight studies that shouldn't affect your normal work hours. I felt confident in knowing that not only am I helping with potential cures in the health industry for various illnesses, but also knowing that by participating, it helps me out too. If you're curious about how to earn up to $500 per day for participating in a research study at Solarion, check them out at helpresearch.com/new or call them at 866-213-2965. Once again, that's Solarion at 866-213-2965 or at helpresearch.com/new.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit? It's no big deal, right? Wrong. The truth is, your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And things have obviously been pretty challenging lately with new vehicles, with all the microchip and supply chain issues, but things continue to loosen up as Koppel gets more and more new vehicles in each and every week. We've had many customers also custom order their vehicles. So if you don't see what you want in our current inventory, we can put an order in to get exactly what you want. So go online, reserve your new vehicle at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstorats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Culligan of Lincoln on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are live from the Mercato. This is the Ticket Water Cooler here, sponsored by Culligan Water. Eric Strickland just jumped in. He's in the building, so he'll be ready for On the Block. Yeah, we can get him on the stream here. There he is.
Hey, there he is.
Yep, ready to go. So come on down. You get a good deal here from 3 to 6, or from now. I mean, it's past 3 now, but all the way up until 6. You can get this deal. Buy one, get one free on Steakhouse Burger Patties. So come on out, 84th and Havelock, live from the Mercato by Certified Piedmontese. That's our show sponsor On the Block, and it's where we're at today. I did want to get to some response again. The question of the day, as seems to be for me, what 5 games would you play on repeat in hell for Nebraska fans? What 5 games would bother you the most if you were stuck watching them for eternity if you're a Nebraska fan? My list includes, we mentioned some of these earlier from off the text line, and we'll get back to the text line too. But I think the 2001 Colorado game, to me, is always the beginning of the end for Nebraska football. I think that was the one. They lost 62-36. Going into that game, Nebraska was number 1 overall. They ended up, enough things happened. 6 teams lost between that game and championship weekend for Nebraska to get into the national title game against Miami. But things in Lincoln just haven't been the same since. So I think that would be one. We mentioned a 93 Florida State game for the championship. Those ones that cost you the game, the championships, certainly could be up there. I think that one is frustrating as well because of some of the officiating. If you had modern day rules where maybe you would be able to have instant replay, all that stuff, I think Nebraska might have another title in their in their championship case there. So that's certainly one. I think another one that kind of changed the history or the feeling for Nebraska, really tough to watch, the 2004 game in Lubbock against Texas Tech. That team, they just did not stop scoring on the Huskers all night. I think they have like a cannon that they shoot off whenever they score. Well, they scored 70. They beat Nebraska 70-10 in Bill Callahan's first year, and really took a lot of momentum out of the program there. So I think I'd include that game. I think you'd have to include either 2012 or 2014 Wisconsin. There's plenty of Wisconsin games to choose from where they're running all up and down Nebraska. 2012, the championship game, maybe you wouldn't have to include because, well, there were a couple plays that you like in that one. Taylor Martinez had one of the best scrambles for a 70-yard touchdown that we've ever seen here at Nebraska, as well as Kenny Bell's big block that actually got another touchdown for Nebraska called back that Jamal Turner scored. But still, we like the call, and we all like Gus Johnson because of it. So that one might exclude it. I think 2014, the final nail in the coffin for Bo Pelina was that Wisconsin game where Melvin Gordon ran for a then NCAA record, basically in 3 quarters. So I think that you'd have to put that one on there too. Some other nominations probably would be 2010 Red Out Around the World game against Texas. It just meant so much after losing that game and that last second being put on in 2009. So that was very disappointing that Nebraska did not beat a very average Texas team. 1982 Penn State, same type of deal as earlier with the 93 Florida State game. Maybe if you had instant replay back then, Nebraska would have another title in their trophy case. So that's some interesting ones I think you'd put up there. Gator says the Texas game with 1 second left is the only time I've cried because of sports. I may have been 11 years old, but it still makes me tear up to this day. So that's pretty rough for me. Also asked kind of the basketball, what would be the basketball version of this? I think, and he mentioned the 1 second loss or the last second loss to Kansas and against Tim Miles that one year when Steve Mahalik hit that 3. Maybe that'd be one of them, but I think you could just put all the NCAA tournament games up there for Nebraska basketball. Matt says Melvin Gordon running for 400-something yards in the snow. As I mentioned, yeah, that's one that could be up there. The Big Ten title game against Nebraska or against Wisconsin also mentioned there, so that makes sense too. So those are some of the nominations for the 5 games. If you're a Nebraska fan, you just couldn't stand to watch for eternity. What do you have any other ideas out there?
Bach, let me ask you this then, because you know where I'm going to go with this. How about the Tyrod Taylor with 1 minute left, 81-yard bomb to Danny Cole at home in 2009? Does that rank up there?
I don't know if those rank quite as high. They were tough losses though. I mean, if you narrowed it down to like 2000. I mean, there was a few rough years, though. So maybe like 2008 to 2010. Certainly in that era, those were frustrating losses.
Those were good home and homes too. That was a good matchup at the time.
It was both. It was the case in both those games where Ndamukong Suh got too good of pressure to make Tyrod Taylor get out of the pocket and then hit somebody and get the win. So that was kind of frustrating. But those Virginia Tech games, I'd put them in. They might be on the maybe top. Probably top 25, top 50, somewhere like that.
Honorable mentions.
I don't know if they're top 5.
Here's my other question too, because I've been thinking about this because last year's obviously my first season where I was able to really get in depth with Nebraska football. Last season, what would be your most disappointing one that you would play in hell?
Whew. Gosh, I think I'd watch that Oklahoma game and be happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the Oklahoma game. No.
Yeah, that was like the feel. That was like the feeling was kind of good coming out of that game, that Nebraska maybe could compete with the top teams across the nation. And that was kind of a surprise. So, I mean, that would be one. I think out of last year, Illinois was probably most disappointing. Purdue.
But the thing is, at the beginning of the season, I would probably say either Michigan State. It was on the road. Michigan State ended up turning out.
And you had the win locked up.
Yeah. I would say either that or Iowa. The way the Iowa game went down towards the end was just absolutely brutal.
Yeah, the toughest game last year. God, that's a. Whole
you can only pick last year. What would you go with?
Yeah, which 5 games? Yeah, I think you're right on. I think Illinois for me would be up there. I think Iowa, Michigan State, just because it was so one. It was
didn't give up a first down in the second half. Yeah, still blows my mind.
It's an incredible performance, but they ended up losing that one. I mean, I don't know. Eventually, all of them just kind of something like the Minnesotas and the Purdues were like
the 4
incredibly disappointing, but at the same time, not all that together shocking.
But I think the Iowa and the Michigan State hurt the most because they were essentially won until they weren't, right?
Yeah, I think those might be right up there at the top. I think maybe that's a topic we'll punt for next week. I like it. I like we teased it because I do want to dive into that. Again, we're live out here at the Mercado. Wrapping up the ticket water cooler, but On the Block is coming up next. Strick will join me, so if you want to see Eric Strickland, come on out. Big Frank's already out here, ready to get some.
Oh yeah, Big Frank. Tell him I said hey.
Yeah, Nate says hi, Big Frank, by the way. He's waving back. Buy one, get one free on Steakhouse Burger Patties up until 6. So get out here, 84th and Havelock, live from the Mercato by Certified Piedmontese. On the Block is next. Thanks for joining us.
Southeast Community College is training tomorrow's workforce today with our nearly 60 career and technical programs. We are doing our part to help employers fill vacancies during this current labor shortage, graduating students with skill sets employers are seeking. We're also helping to upskill the workforce by adding short-term credentials like certificates in many programs so